Well, welcome to the coaching clinic. Angie is still not back. Please send healing vibes her way as her voice is gradually recovering. It's important that she rests it. If you are familiar with Angie on the show, you'll know that's not an easy task, but she's doing her very best. She will be better soon. She's really hoping to come back and join us on the show as soon as possible. But we still have work to do, and I'm not going to leave you hanging whilst we wait for Angie to get better. So I'm bringing you another short episode today. I'm going to talk about lead magnets for coaches. If you don't know what a lead magnet is, it's a really important part of your marketing process for bringing in new clients. If you're not using it, you should be. We're going to talk about the best ways to use them. And I'm going to share one of my favorite lead magnet tools that can help you massively improve your lead generation. Stay tuned for that, and let's fling open the doors to the coaching clinic.
Welcome to the Coaching Clinic with John and Angie, the show for professional coaches that explores the ins and outs of coaching, from working with clients through to running and marketing your coaching business.
If you're a professional coach who's committed to your own personal and professional growth, cares about making a difference, and wants to have a successful coaching business, you're in the right place.
My name's John Ball.
And I'm Angela Bezignano.
Between us, we have over 50 years of coaching experience and best practices to share with you, from getting started to scaling up your business.
We know what works and what doesn't, as well as what it really takes to have a successful and thriving coaching business.
With new episodes every Wednesday.
Make sure you're subscribed to get them fresh.
So welcome back to the show. First of all, I'm away from home. I do not have my usual mic. So I hope you'll bear with me that the audio quality may not be quite what you're used to from the show. But let's talk about lead magnets. So if you don't know what lead magnet is, let's be clear on what that is first. It's something that attracts people into your funnel, and you might then be hopefully following up with them, and you're going to potentially see if they're a good fit for you as a coach. With lead magnets particularly, we're talking about something like a quiz, a video. It could be what we call a white paper, which is more like a document. It could be an ebook. It could be a mini course that people could take. So it could be any number of things that people are going to get to download from you. And in return for that download, they will be providing you with their email address and their name. This then gives you the opportunity to put their information into your CRM. Your CRM is your customer resource management tool, which is where you should, which if you don't have one, you should definitely look at getting one of those pretty soon as well. My favorite lead magnet for larger mail outs and for managing these kinds of things at the moment for larger outreach is to use Kit, formerly ConvertKit. I'll put a link to them in the show notes for anyone interested in checking Kit out. It's a simple, cost-effective way to reach out and segment your audience groups, and it's very easy to use. Lots of help to get you promoting your products and services and start getting your referrals coming through the door. It's also really important that you have a good lead magnet. If you're familiar with the email marketing show, you'll know who Kennedy is. Kennedy suggests that you have pretty much your hell and heaven island. Like you assume that they're in hell and you're going to help them get to heaven island. Where are you going to take them with that lead magnet? You don't want to sell the journey. You actually want to make sure that you are selling the destination. So your lead magnet should offer some kind of solution. It might be an insight. It might be a guide. It might be to learn how to specifically do something that might be difficult to do, or that people would maybe even often pay you for doing. And I do think probably some of the most effective lead magnets are ones that people might actually be willing to pay for. Because if you only ever give away stuff that is free, how important is it to somebody to download that and follow through with that? So if it's not something that they think there's enough value there that they're actually getting a benefit that would have been worth paying for, they might not see the point in downloading your lead magnet. So I would say you may want to give away something of value here. Now, one thing I have seen that's been quite good, and this may or may not be relevant to you, but some people have a whole process that they use and that they'll take their clients through. That might be more specific to people who do things like book coaching, like author coaching, to get you to finish your personal development book. They could give you the whole process. And you might think that's crazy. And you think someone could just go and take that process and do it all themselves. Yes, they could. But the chances of them doing that by themselves are remarkably slim. And when they see how complex the process is and when they start having questions about it, is when they may realize that they could use some help, and they're far more likely, rather than trying to press through by themselves, think, maybe I should see if I can work with these people. So if your lead magnet can do something like that, I'd say don't be afraid of even giving away your complete IP, intellectual property, a complete framework. Far too many people, and I talked about this on my other podcast, Present Influence, last week, but far too many people are afraid of having their IP stolen. And I don't think it's worth spending that much time on the fear and protectionism of trying to protect your IP from people stealing it or using it. First of all, if somebody is selling your content and making money from it, and you find out about that, you can probably take some kind of action against them. If they are using your content and not crediting you for it, and it clearly is your IP and you can prove that, you can take legal action. If they are just sharing your content all over the place, but also not necessarily using it to make money, but maybe trying to pass it off as their own, other than legal things, I say don't worry too much about it. Good luck to them to some degree. Part of the reason you're in this in the first place is because you want to make a difference. You want to help and serve people. If there are other people out there jumping on to do that and to serve the same kinds of people, great. That's more people that get helped. Do they then have the ability to create additional content, to do things in your style with your voice? Do they have the stuff to back up what they're teaching, which they have effectively stolen from you? They do not. And so it may most likely end up backfiring on them to some degree when someone will get to a point with them that they are just not capable of helping with or going beyond. They're never going to have your voice. They're never going to be able to do all the things that you do in the way that you do it. So focus more on what you can do and who you can help rather than who might be trying to rip you off and rip off your content and IP. You don't want to ignore blatant infringements that might have legal remedy, but I certainly encourage you not to spend too much time worrying about that and focus more on what you do and who you can help. Beyond that, let's get back to lead magnets. I don't think you should worry at all about your IP here, because when people know that it's you, even if someone else is using it and someone else recognizes your stuff, they will come back and say, hey, this is someone else's stuff. And then people will start coming to you as well. And they'll say, this is actually the person who originated it. This is the person who has the ideas. You then are very much seen as the expert, and the other person is seen as the weak imitation, which is ultimately what they are. So you do want to have something that gets them to a destination. I'll give you an example of one of mine, and you're certainly welcome to check it out. You can download it from the Present Influence website, and it is an ebook on how to build up your following from guesting on podcasts. You can actually build up and create lead generation and opportunity for yourself by being a guest on podcasts. I've got a very visual, clear pathway to doing that's going to help you be a great podcast guest and to get on the right podcast, knowing how to apply, how to make your pitch the right way, all the things that are going to help you to be a great guest and to leverage that effectively. And that's free. Now, that is definitely a service that I could and have charged people for in the past, and still would if somebody wanted help to work on and implement that. There's enough in that free ebook that you could probably do this by yourself and hopefully would still think that was really good value. This guy knows what he's talking about, and someone who I would definitely consider working with. A new lead magnet that I'm working on is a quiz funnel, and quiz funnels can be great because you can actually give people much deeper insights. You could do something like a personality quiz, although, I don't love those. I do think people tend to get bought into this idea of their personality being one thing or another, and I don't necessarily think that that's the case. But personality quizzes can work really well, and people love to take them. Are you this kind of coach, or are you this kind of business person, or are you this kind of person in a relationship? A good friend of mine, Susanna, she's doing an amazing one where she's categorizing people into different animal types. Great, really lovely idea and nice recognizable things that go, oh, are you this animal? Are you that animal? And here's the qualities that go with that. Love stuff like that. And it gives you nice clarity. And also for people coming into her audience, they're going to be able to connect over, all right, were you this animal when you took the quiz or were you this one? So I think I really love that. And think she has a great idea with that. Quiz funnel that I'm just about to launch, and I've been spending a lot of time working on it, is a keynote quotient where you are going to get a score on the effectiveness professionally of your keynote. If you are a keynote speaker or wanting to be a paid keynote speaker, how effective is your keynote presentation? Is it getting you recommendations, referrals, everything you want it to be doing? Or is it not? In which case you might want to do some work about that. Also, we start to get into different archetypes that might be relevant to you, which will relate to your current experience of being a speaker. So that might be that you are a thinker and that you spend a lot of time thinking about things. That's a great skill and quality to have, but it could also infer that you might be spending too much time thinking about things, maybe even procrastinating a little at times and needing to focus a little more on action. So we give people some ideas of which of the archetypes that they are likely scoring in that make them relevant to them, and which ones they don't score in, which maybe or have very low scores in, which make them far less relevant. So the archetypes that you have the highest scores in will be the most relevant for you. And that gives people an opportunity to see where they are. Are they more of a storyteller? Are they a real master at what they're doing? Does the archetype reflect that they've been in the industry a long time and are very experienced? Are they a novice just starting out? That can give you a nice insight into where you are, what kinds of things you should be focusing on, and where you need to be paying attention to move up to the levels that you want to get to. And that then leads people into hopefully booking a discovery call. They will get to follow up and find out whether they're going to be a good fit for the business or not. Now, I will put a link to the scorecard app that I'm using into the show notes for you, for anyone who wants to check this out, because I think it's one of the best quiz funnels that I've come across because it can link up really nicely with all of your content. You can link it up with Kit, for example, which is what I've done, and you can have it automatically going into your CRM so that the people are there for you to follow up with. I would make sure that you have your nurture sequence. Maybe if you're thinking of having a newsletter account, well, make sure that's going in there as well and that they have a way to access it. But either way, you want to then have them segmented. So this is going to be people who've come in through your scorecard app. They've scored themselves in their keynote quiz. And that's where you want to be following up with them as to what their goals and their level is and where they want to get to. So that would be a great starting point for a discovery call. And this is the kind of thing we're looking for. We want to be having people come into our world, have an interesting thing to promote. I could put it on any of my other podcasts, which is much more about presentation skills and influence skills, more relevant to speakers, is a great thing for me to be advertising every week or every show. It's also great for LinkedIn, my website, and inviting people who maybe follow my newsletter. I'm going to put it into my newsletter each week. Make sure people actually follow through and take the quiz. This should be an attractive proposition for them. Now, I think there are some good ways to think about this. A lead magnet can be solving a problem. It can be getting them to a particular aspirational outcome. It can be very much a clear how-to. I would encourage you to make sure that whatever you come up with as a lead magnet, have a little bit of bounce around with it, get some feedback from other people. Say, hey, look, here's some ideas I've got for lead magnets. Ideally, people who are in your kind of target audience, your avatar, and see if they think it could be a good fit. Or if you want a bit of external guidance from that, reach out to me or Angie. You will find our LinkedIn information in the show notes, so you can shoot us a message there. We'll be happy to tell you if we think your lead magnet idea is a good one or not. If you don't have your lead magnet in place, or you think the one you have isn't doing a lot for you right now, this could be a great opportunity for you to get a lead magnet in place that is truly going to attract prospects for your business and help boost your coaching practice. I hope this has been a useful session for you today. It's a much shorter one than usual. Angie will hopefully be back with us very soon. We are in the process of lining up some new interview guests. We've got some great people applying, asking to be on the show, and some people we're reaching out to. So once Angie's fully better, we'll have a full-on conversation, more like the usual style of show that you're used to. But in the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. Please message us on LinkedIn or leave us a voicemail at www.speakpipe.com/the Coaching Clinic podcast. You can leave up to 90 seconds of voicemail completely free, so long as you have a microphone. And we'd love to hear from you. We'll most likely feature you on the show as well. If you don't want to be featured, that's absolutely fine. But if you reach out to us on LinkedIn or SpeakPipe, we'll get back to you. And if you have questions about lead magnets, or you want to check in on yours or get some ideas, let us know. Check the links in the show notes for Kit as a CRM. And certainly you may want to check out other CRMs as well. It's not the only one out there. It's certainly the one I prefer. And you may also want to check out the Scorecard app site, which is a great tool from Daniel Priestley, who has awesome books. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him before. So if you haven't come across Dan Priestley before, you certainly should check him out. Check out his books and definitely check out the Scorecard app. It is awesome. All right, that's it for me for this week. We'll be back with you next Wednesday, hopefully with Angie. Let's close the doors to the Coaching Clinic and see you next time. Bye-bye.